Go live on Facebook. You're live on both.
Okay.
Can you hear us?
This one good.
Oh, on Facebook.
Damn it. Okay, we are getting going. We are setting record. We are going to come in 3, 2, 1. How's it going, everyone? Welcome to a Thursday night pre-Halloween live feed. We're going to do something a little fun tonight. We are going to do a Hellraiser theme. Always love this movie. Always a big fan of it. So I was trying to think of something to do, and I came across this really cool piece of aluminum here. Okay, this is a piece of basically Alumicore. It's, you know, the PVC cord aluminum, so it's got like a black PVC in the middle. And this is the brushed aluminum, brushed aluminum on this side, and it's like a brass copper, you know, tone on this side. So when I saw this in my studio, I was like, oh man, you know, it'd be cool to do a Hellraiser box. And I had vectored a version of it a long time ago for another painting that I distorted and messed with, and I figured we'll use it for this. So this is just a one-time thing. This is not going to be available for purchase on the store. I don't have IP for this, you know, intellectual property rights or anything like that. This is just simply going to be a fan art piece. And we're going to insert a skull inside it, kind of a little screaming, painful skull.
So is there any way you can up the FPS for the Facebook thing?
No.
Okay, because it says it's too low.
I don't know. If Facebook's a problem...
Yeah, because it's saying it's too low, but it's... Looking at it, it's the right frame rate, but it's saying it's too low.
Okay. Whatever. So for anyone on Facebook, let's... Sorry about that. On the Facebook side, click the link. The picture might not be so great over there. Make sure you click the link and get over to the YouTube side, where YouTube has the high-def cameras, multicams, and all that stuff. So, let's get back to what I was talking about. So, I vectored this a while ago. I vectored the whole cube. It was a real painstaking process. Like I said, it's not something that's for sale or anything, but, you know, it's something... With my videos on how to do vectoring and how to do stuff in classes, definitely something that's not too hard to do. It just takes some time. It takes a long time to weed it out, and I'm going to show you a little bit of that, what I did before this feed. And I'll read some of your comments while this is going. Let's see who's on tonight. We got Blue. How's it going, honey? And we got Scott Voss, we got Aaron, the nameless subscriber. How you doing, man? Michael, Young Slinger. So where am I located? I'm out of Boston, Massachusetts, just north of Boston. That's where I'm out of, up here in New England, where it's starting to get cold and we've had a lot of wind and rain. Honey, did you guys get a ton of rain up there? I know the city did, but I didn't know where you're at, if you got it. Enzo, things are good, man. Things are good. All right, so this is just a piece of the cube. I think it was Simon Carter on page said something. This is like the lament positioning of the cube. I'm not super savvy in it, so for those who are, feel free to talk about it. But it was a great, you know, for those who don't know, this is, you know, part of the cube, one of the sides of the Hellraiser cube. It's just the most ornate, cool thing, and you change it and moves around. It's a crazy puzzle box. So I always like this position, and I'll do a little painting on the inside. So let me show you what I did a little while ago. So I put this on FBS green. This is the green mask. and I picked it and weeded it and transfer taped it, which I am going to show you right here. And yeah, this was, you know, it looks super easy, and it is to get that pattern, but it's just time. It's a lot of little picking and, you know, razor blading and pick tool and going through everything, and, you know, that's all part of the job. But, you know, it's better than hand cutting on the surface, and, you know, now it's a mask I can resize and reuse and do it. You know, if I really want to go crazy, it's something I could, you know, go in and actually do every side of this cube and make a panel for each one and do each one and make a full cube, which would be awesome, but I'm definitely not going to do that. But yeah, so, and that was picked, weed, transferred, taped, cut out, ready to go. And now we got it right here where we're at right now. So we got transfer tape on both sides of this mask. Let's get it on the panel. This panel is really cool because it's got a glaze to it. It's got, you know, the brush marks and everything. So when it's cleared, it has that reflective look. It's really an awesome piece to work with. And if you go on McKayFineArt.com, one of the pieces there, which is my steampunk piece, a Steam Nouveau, that is done with this same metal. And when you look at that in person, like the real one, and even the replica prints, it's just really awesome how it catches the light. Because I had metallized prints made of that same piece, and those are still available on the store. You got metal prints, canvas prints, paper prints of that one, but it gives you that really reflective look. So Dennis Blaze, question for you, Scott: do you shake or stir your Cratex paint? I stir mine, a little battery gizmo. So yeah, I shake it. I actually have a mixer, which is like it's a rotary drum that spins. It keeps everything kind of churned up. But I give it a good shake, then I mix it together, and I'll use a stir stick, and then I strain it afterwards. I always strain it. If you are using, if you're using that little battery spinner gizmo thing, I have one of those somewhere. Basically like a spinner. Yeah, what you're doing, it's not the paint's fault. Those spinners, the way that blade is, that with a little fin on it, you're actually aerating the paint. You're basically like, if you ever use like a mixer to make like mayonnaise or anything, it basically, you take egg and oil and you aerate it, and it makes it thick. That's basically what you're doing if you stir it with one of those fast battery gizmos. So I don't do that. I mix the paint, the jar itself. Then I put them in the mixing cup and I just stir it with a stick, and then I strain it. That's what I do with the paint. So, let's put this little guy on here. I'm going to use the hinge technique here. I'm going to go across. I got everything centered where I want it. I'm going to apply this mask. Kayla, can you grab me that squeegee that's right there? Thank you. Yeah, that little thing, I used that once, especially on the candies. And when you have the candies in the 40-50, it basically injects so much foam, it turns it into a thick paste almost. So basically what you did, basically what you did to the paint was you aerated it. You didn't just mix it. Because that spins so fast, it's actually sucking air in and mixing air, and you're basically adding air, micro air bubbles into it and creating a foam paint. Basically what you do at that point. So yeah, I don't like that mixer. It's good for like some model paint, some like the older like lacquer and things like that, or if it's in a bigger container. But if you're in a small container, it'll put too much air in it. Okay, so we got this guy here and here. All right, hinge technique. This is how I apply. This is how I always apply my mask, whatever the size of surface is. I always use a hinge technique. You can go top down. Some guys like that. I prefer this method. It gives me more control over the shift and everything walking. You have 2 battery mix for sale. You know, if you're mixing a bunch of paint, you can use that. Just, you don't want to use it in a small cup. And you can actually change the, I just use like a little, I made mine to like an L shape. Instead of that like circle disc on the bottom. That was basically aerating it. So So, basic hinge technique. Take my vinyl, I roll it down, I pull the backer off. Now I take my squeegee. What's happening, Mike? So by putting this on here first, what's under the mask will stay the purest the whole time, which is going to be that bright, brass color. Which, when I do all these candies in dark browns, it's going to look like the box, like it's been chiseled, it's been carved away. Because I'm going to use a brown and give it almost like a wood grain type of look inside there. Okay. So then I lift this up, I pull the backer off, and now I can lay this one down. I've done this in a bunch of videos, so I know I have a basic video that just shows this technique by itself over on my YouTube channel, so just subscribe there, you'll see that. So whoever is over on the Facebook side, thank you for watching. Make sure if you got YouTube, click on that link and pop on over to the YouTube side. That's got the very nice high def image, multi-cameras, multi-angles, they're all there. So now I'm just going to pull this transfer tape out. So I hope everyone's almost ready for Halloween. It's one of my favorite times of year. Although I have yet to decorate my house. So I'm going to have to put some decorations up tomorrow and Saturday, and then I'm going to have to pull them down because I'm flying out the next day to Las Vegas for SEMA show. But I'm going to have to do something. Grab me that pick right there. Thank you, kid. There's a few things here. Beat me to the Halloween stream. I was thinking of doing one, but life was busy. Yeah, I did a Halloween one last week, and with the pumpkin. I did the pumpkin one last week, and then this week I figured it was closer to Halloween, so I do another one and make it a little bit more horror-based by doing the Hellraiser inspired cube. There's a few little pieces I didn't pick out here, so I'm going to pick those out now. And this I'm just using a pick tool. If you haven't seen these, X-Acto makes them, a bunch of other places make them. It's a vinyl pick, and it's just a nice spike, and as opposed to using a razor blade, these work great. The other thing is obviously my plastic razor blades, the orange blades you see me using. Those are available at Coast. There's a whole bunch of different preferred ways you can pick your vinyl, and whichever is your preferred way is the right way. Let's see. Here. That one. Yeah, it's just a couple little ones I missed. It wouldn't be that important. But what would eventually happen is I would probably, I'd leave these in there, I'd finish the painting, pull it off, it'd be buried under paint, I wouldn't see it till I clear it, then I go to wet sand and buff it, and you break through and you end up with green mask showing through. So, cool, there we go. Got everything. Awesome. Yeah, basically it's like a dental pick. They're just sharp enough where it won't really scratch the surface, unless you really poke it heavy. Catches the vinyl just nice enough. Okay, so happy Halloween, guys. Cheers. Got a little libation and a little skull cup, skeleton hand. So fitting for the evening. Okay, so basically what I'm going to do is I'm using Candy Dirt Track Brown, which is from Candy 2.0 series, and so this I got black and brown. So I darken it up a little bit because I find the Dirt Track Brown a little orangey. So I kicked it up with a little black. You can also add a little purple into it, but the black has a purplish cast, so that's why I went with that. And so I did it pretty strong. So I did pretty much, 1-to-1 candy to UVLS, the 4050 UVLS. So it goes down pretty strong. So basically I have this near black color, but see it's got a little bit of a brownish cast to it because I got the brown candy in it, the Dirt Track Brown. And then the main color, can't remove this one, which looks pretty strong, but over this color you'll see that metal through it. And I'm not going to do a lot of it here because I'm going to go black here and kind of fade it out. So, like, I'm going to go over the whole thing, and actually we'll put some texture in here using Gerald Mendez texture effects. Just so it's got a little interest going on. And when you clear this, like I said, when you clear this, all that brass, that metal is going to come through. Here's another question. The air valve, not the Mac valve. Where we can get a tool to remove the small thread, plate, screws, plunger. I'm not sure what you're talking about on that one. As far as the Mac valve that's here, that goes on the side of the brush, I'm not sure the tool to remove that one. But this one, you can remove that pretty easy. As far as the spring, I'm not sure. I never mess with the Mac valve on the brush. But talk about the air valve here. The Mac valve one, I'm not sure. You talk about the air body up inside, like the actual, inside this channel. There is a toolkit for that through Iwata. So yeah, General Mendez texture effects. They are just awesome. Always have been. And Gerald was really, one of the originators of the whole texture effects kind of series. And they're just so well done and thought out. Listen, I got this pretty dark, and I'm going to use his other one here, which this is kind of the, I always call it like the sea sponge type, because it has that feel. Now I'm just going to give it a basic wash because I want the whole thing. And then I'm going to use Candy Black over the rest of it and give it almost like a drop shadow effect. And maybe I'll go to the straight Dirt Track Brown, maybe with a little bit of... actually, I'll do that little orange candy mixed in it. And I'm going to fade to a black in here and set up for the skull is basically what I'm going to do. Yeah, the fine tweezers work alright. I found the tweezers tend to dig more than anything else. For me anyway, but some people love them, and it's definitely something to try. I actually had a pair of tweezers that had like a plastic end, like almost like a Teflon. Those were cool, but I always seem to do best with like just an X-Acto or pick tool or the plastic razor blades. Always seem to work, the best for me anyway. Let's see if I can find Grabber Orange. Oh, Kurt Tweez. Oh, you talk about for getting the tools out. Yeah. So actually I have the toolkit itself, and the toolkit's nice because it takes it out perfectly without damaging the threads or anything like that. But prior to that, yeah, I made my own. Okay, so what I did is I just added some grabber orange to it and basically, you know, warmed it up. And I'm going to go over that just a little bit. Because that's going to really glow beautifully when we clear this panel. And then when I mix in between, I'm just going to save that. And I want to put in let's see here. Go back in. Cool. Now, I'm going to take the next color, which is the candy black, that is also mixed with that brown. I'm going to do a little bit more texturing. We'll do some spitting as well. You know, we'll do some old school where you bounce it off the edge of a popsicle stick and give it a little stippling effect. Look, I'm just going to smear it around a little bit. That's the cool thing about when you're doing like random textures. You can just really mess around. Hey Michelle, thank you for that. Appreciate that. Okay, so I'm going to do like a top-down light source. I'm just going to do a basic shadow under everything. I'm going to cover the whole thing, both sides of the line work. But I'm going to go heavier down the bottom. And when I unmask this later, it's going to really give that lift to everything. By just going under it, creating a drop shadow, it's going to really add to the illusion and give it some three-dimensionality. And then we'll get into the center. Hello! Thank you for checking in from Canada. I haven't been up to British Columbia, Canada. I've been in Montreal and this side a lot, and I have family in Canada, in Nova Scotia. That's where my mother's from. So a lot of aunts, uncles, family up in Nova Scotia, Canada. So we got up that side as a kid. I've taught in Montreal, but I've never gotten up to the West Coast side or British Columbia. Definitely got to change that at some point. So see, I'm just going around, keeping my light source in mind. And giving everything a drop shadow, basic. I'll enhance these as I go. But the cool thing about looking at a light source like this, so when I'm coming down, you know, these ones are pretty much right center, but as I get to this side, the drop shadow gets more heavy to one side, and then it starts creeping back as the light's coming down to this side. I don't understand what you're doing. So right now what I'm doing, Javier, is I've airbrushed all the candies over the mask. The brass metal is covered with this mask. And then I've canned everything over with the dark candy. Now I'm going through and drop shadowing, so it's going to create almost a relief. So these panels, when you unmask, actually look raised because they're creating a drop shadow effect. It'll all make sense. Yeah, I went back and forth quite a bit. So E2O right now is the paint I'm using. Yeah, this has been mixed in 1-to-1 with the UVLS 4050. So I'll get a nice strong coverage, a great bite. The 4050 just bites into everything. Like I said, this panel itself had a coating. This was, you had the brass coating, then it actually has a clear coat on top of it, basically enamel coat. And then I just sanded that with 600 and scuffed it back with red Scotch-Brite just to make sure I get a good adhesion. What would you recommend for a beginner as far as an airbrush? My tried and true airbrush, and I still use them this day all the time, and that's what this brass one is here. It's just a stripped down version. Is the Iwata Eclipse. This is not just an entry-level brush, it's an all-around workhorse that lasts forever. Super easy to clean, super easy to use. It runs most paint through it. You can use it for t-shirts, you can use it for larger work, fine detail work. It's the best all-around brush you can use. And that's the Iwata Eclipse, the HPCS. You can get bottom feed ones as well that suck from the bottle on the bottom, so you can get different bottles and color change them. It's whatever you prefer. This is what I recommend everyone start out with. It's just, you buy it once, it'll last you forever. It's good for beginners, it's good for professionals, and you never have to worry about it. The problem with some of this, there's some cheaper brushes out there, even from Iwata. The problem with those is you outgrow them, then you're spending money on brushes again. By the time you're done, you spend more in the long run. If you get one of these right off the bat, you're better off. And it doesn't matter if you're painting with urethanes, if you're painting with enamels, you're painting with water-based. This brush can handle it all. A lot of the cheaper ones can only handle water. You get solvent or lacquer in them, like if you're a hobbyist, like a modeler. It gums up the O-rings on the cheaper airbrushes, and you end up fighting with them and you're buying parts like crazy. That's what I love about these. They're just great right out the gate. Projects like this really kind of help you understand light sourcing because you start looking down, you just start to see what I'm doing. Yeah, we got 50 people on. That's awesome. Don't forget to share this, guys, and subscribe. Definitely reach out in the text and ask some questions. You can do it in the comment section later. After it reposts, feel free to go back through and watch it and ask any questions there that you might have missed. Because I go back through these videos for people who watch them after the fact, and I answer questions and go through it. I always go back through and watch them. So definitely ask questions. If I miss your question now, I'll probably go back through and I'll watch it, and I'll answer it there. And don't forget, there's always Super Chat. You see tips for liking what I'm doing. If you want to see more stuff, just shout outs. And we also take bids on these. Yeah, the Eclipse CS is probably around 120 to 160 range, depending where you get it. Go through coastairbrush.com. They usually have the best price on everything. That's where I get all my gear from. And if you find it a legit one cheaper somewhere else, call them. They'll probably match it or beat it. Cool. We give you a little sneak peek of what this is going to look like at the end. Let me pull one of these corners here. You can see. And this can kind of check it. We go right. Let me go here. See, so when that's done, it's going to give that awesome brass look. And I'll wash over this whole thing so it's not so pure brass at the end. And it's just going to look unbelievable. Let's see if I can... Yeah, that's not going to help too much. But yeah, you can see how that's kind of coming. I don't want to pull too much off. But yeah, it's going to look awesome. Nope. Bear Trek. This is Createx. This is the illustration. Createx. Sorry. Createx Candy 2.0 is what I'm spraying here. If I was doing solvent, yeah, I'd be using House of Color, and I'd be using for colors. I'd be doing kind of the same thing. I'd be using root beer candy, and I'd probably add a little black or purple candy into it to darken the tone up. Is what I'd be doing. Dennis, yeah, exactly, Dennis. If you're in Canada, you can go through maple as well. All right, so we got that. We got those two colors down. Let's get everything up here. Got all my guns. I wish I had it in frame. I did the video the other day. Everything is on my last gun rack. Master Airbrush Model G22 is good for you. Get an airbrush, affordable, works fine. Yeah, you know, those are fine. I've used them. I've gotten them. They're hit or miss. Sometimes they work good. Sometimes out of the box they don't work great. You know, the cheaper brushes like that, they work fine because they're based the same body. But a lot of times they just use their quality control is lacking. So you get good ones and bad ones a lot more frequently. So I'm gonna black this center out. So I want the skull to be coming out of like darkness. So I'm gonna basically black out the center. I'm not flooding the paint. The reason why a lot of people have a problem with water-based, especially if they come from solvent, they flood too much too fast, and they'll heat gun it or do some stuff, and they'll get a skin. You'll skin over the top, and that's exactly what you don't want, because then you'll get wet paint underneath. And just letting the edge peek through with that candy color that's still there. Yeah, I remember I got a master one and I got a snap-on one from some guy a while back. I'm like, yeah, I'll give it a shot. They look the same. They're made the same. And you know, they worked, but they became more finicky than anything else. But some of them work great, so they are a great beginner airbrush. And I make no bones about it. I'm an Iwata guy. I work with Iwata on projects and some quality control. So I am slightly biased, but I'm only biased because I've done the research on, you know, I've used every other brush on the market, and I've always had the best luck overall with the Iwata brands. Cool. See, so it's looking pretty dark right now. this dry out. Put some air over it. All right, let's talk about, while that's drying out, what do we got here? What's everyone's plans for Halloween? Everyone got any cool plans, going out, doing any parties, things like that? Let me know. Okay, I'm going to move this aside. I just put little magnets on the back of it. That's what's nice about this independent airbrush station from Visionaire. This is a steel plate, and it's aluminum panel, and I just put the some sticky magnets on the back and just pop it in, and it keeps from sliding around. Same thing with my pocket graphics. I just stuck them in the back. So I'm going to put that aside. And get my cutting mat up here. I did the same thing with my cutting mat. The cutting mat, I put a few magnets on, stick that down. And we're going to cut out the skull that I'm using. So this is the skull that I'm using. And I already cut this one out. This is kind of the center of it, but I haven't finished them. So I cut the basics of the eye socket and the mouth and that. So, and then I'm going to come around here. I'm going to cut the basic silhouette, his outermost shape. And this is just regular printer paper. It's nothing crazy special. Just printer paper. So I'll make like a 2-part stencil here. Because what I want to do is I got this guy. That's going to be, this is going to have my basic black detail. Okay. And I'm going to cut the silhouette of this, and I'll use it to kind of spray the, I'll basically use it to spray the white in. So I'm just going to cut these basics out. Yeah, the Mr. Hobby brushes, they kind of follow the same thing about the master ones. You can get really good ones, and they work great. You can get some okay ones. The biggest thing with a lot of those brands is their availability for parts. You have one place to get them from, and that's it. So, but they all work. Badger's another great brand. Been around forever. U.S. made. You have Grex is another company. Longevity-wise, like I said, I've always had the best luck with Iwatas and the way they've supported the industry and a lot of other artists, and definitely innovate that everyone else kind of replicates and tries to follow. So I've been with them. So I'm just cutting the basics out. Basically this is going to be like a one-time use stencil. I mean, I could use it multiple times. I'm not gonna. I'm just cutting the basics. I'll cut the palette out just where that's going to be. And I'll end up cutting some more as we go. But I got him basically done. So Mike, let's see what Mike's saying here. Arguing with myself. When do you use negative versus positive template? So, if I'm on a dark surface like this, I'm going to use, if I use a negative like this and try to spray black, it's not going to do anything. It's not going to show up. But I'm going to need it for the sorry, just dropped my template. I'm going to need that to put in detail later. So I would have used, if I didn't have the black in there, if I had like the color, the original color, I would have used, I could have just went with that and used that by itself. But I'm going to be getting like a bone color in there. So I'm going to lay that in first. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut this out first here. And you'll see, you basically, I try to use both, I probably could have got away with, in fact, I could have gotten away with just going in and just loosely misting the bone color, which I may do instead, versus the template so I don't get an edge, but I'll show you both. So see what I'm doing here? I didn't have the whole stencil, so I'm just using the other one as the guide. So they line up to each other. This is just like making, you see those like, multi-use stencils, multi-layered stencils that people sell? This is basically making one of those. Now it's just going to be, I got to try to line it up. Oops, I shouldn't have cut that all the way out. So, anyway, you'll see what I'm doing. Okay, we're going to put this back up. Fade the skull in with fire. Yeah, I could do fire in here. I don't really want to do fire, but that totally works. Actually, yeah, and I would take the same approach. I would just fade in the fiery tones first, but I didn't mix any up, so we're not going to do that. Okay, so let's get this guy in here. I know that's going to be roughly where he goes. Cool. We can keep this really loose and easy. I'm not going to flood a ton of paint in here. It's just enough to show everything up where everything's going to be. So you don't get overspray. Here's a nice little trick I learned from Steve Driscoll. Fold your tape edge up and it'll act like a deflector and it'll just deflect the paint. Cool. Alright, color here. So what I did is I'm using Tim Gore's Bloodline here, the Lifeline Light Neutral, and that's going to be my bone color. I'm just going to go lightly around the edges, hit them. You doing some? Thanks, man. Appreciate that. I can blow some texture now as I put that in. And it's just going to be there at the end. Between that one and this one, I always love using these in skulls. It's like just a quick trick for getting some texture right off the bat in that skull. And I'm not worried about, it doesn't have to be super coverage. It's just enough where... See what I'm doing? I'm just doing that. Now freehand this in. And then we can blend this candy out. We can blend this with the brown candies and stuff like that later. Sweet. All right, let's get... Where is my black? We got some red here. We might use some red too. So this black I made is really thick, so I'm going to reduce this down a little bit. We'll let that settle for a second. And I think we'll put a little bit of the brown in here. Let's see how we like that. There we go. So see, it's got kind of hard to tell on camera. Let me go to camera 2 here. Camera 3. So you can see it's not truly black. It's got a little bit of brown cast to it. Okay, so that's going to help a lot. And then we'll freehand much of this. Let's see. Do you prefer working on larger pieces or smaller pieces? It goes back and forth. I like, you know, this size piece where it's this is a 12 by 12. I like to do my paintings like 12 by 18. You know, for the most part, for my panel work, 18 by 24s are fun. Super small stuff I don't get into too much, like, you know, like crazy small, like Leahy small. I don't get into much of that, although I would like to mess with that one day a little bit. But I do a lot of work on cars and bikes and stuff, so, you know, hoods of cars are probably the biggest I really get. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this color, and I'm going to register this in. And just kind of use this as a guide, like a stencil. You know, same as my Pack a Skull process. You watched my Pack a Skull videos over the past couple of weeks. This process is very similar. I'm just making my own versus using the template. So now, yeah, just gets me the registration. You have some small project for me. Yep, we got one of those pens I got to do. Got some ideas for material. I'm testing that out. We'll talk about that when I get back from SEMA. Anyone here going to the SEMA show next week? I'll be there. So if you're there, you want to come hang out. I'm going to be with FBS in Cumberland for the pretty much every morning. I'm going to go over there and do a 3 or 4 hour demo with them, showing how I use their masks and things like that, and designs from their stuff. So we're going to do little mini classes there. And then what that's going to do is that's going to go right over to the Iwata booth. So I'll take what I'm plotting and designing over at FBS, and then we're going to go over to Iwata and paint it. And if you're in the area, you're welcome to come and paint side by side with me. And you can actually take a panel home. I can do you a little mini class and show you how to use the paints and the mask, and you can actually take the project with you. It's called a make and take. We did them the last SEMA, and we had a blast doing them. So we're bringing it back and doing it again this time. So if you're there, definitely come up. I'm not packing the dino suit. Yeah, I did that 1 year. I could have done that again, but I don't even know. I won't even fit into that damn thing right now. COVID was not kind to the weight. So. Cool. So we're going to switch cameras up here. Nope. There we go. And let's see. There we go. I'm going to zoom right in so you can see what I'm doing here. Take lots of vids. I will try. Okay, so template's on. I got my basic rough out. And this is like destructive editing on the template side. So I'm going to use this and watch. I'm going to, oops, I almost cut directly on my piece here. I'm going to take this and watch. I'm going to cut the eyes out. And the nose bridge. And then, hold on one second here. So I'm going to cut those eyes. And basic, you know, everything's basic registration at this point. Notice I'm painting on the stencil. By painting on the stencil, you don't get too much overspray. Hey Kyle, how you doing? 60 people, thanks guys, appreciate it. Keep it coming. So we do take bids on these. If anyone's interested in taking this home, being the proud owner of it, they are available for bids. So this one's going to be so bitchin', all cleared up. So now I'm just going to cut. I'm going to cut the teeth socket ends, like where the teeth would be, as opposed to cutting each tooth out, and I'll just freehand them in. So I think I just pop this out.
Oh, someone wants 200.
200. That is an outstanding bid. Thank you, sir. We will start there, and this will definitely sell for that. This will probably be one of the coolest ones cleared. So now I'm going to darken up the tooth, and I'm just going to hit below them where they would be. And now I've registered in where the tooth is. You know you gained weight. That's funny, Luke. So yeah, so now I can actually highlight the teeth on the bottom because I have that. Now we'll cut the other part.
What?
What's that, hon?
I did not see what that comment you just read.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, found it.
Okay, so... inside the teeth. You know, so I'm just using this as a sketch stage. Yeah, I could have pre-cut a lot of this out ahead of time before. But it's just enough to get everything registered in. And that's all I'm doing at this point. If that stencil gets a little too kind of chaotic, I'll just cut. That's why I print out multiples. It's the nice thing about printing this out. It's actually like, I started doing more of this after watching guys like Corey St. Clair, Steve Leahy. You know, it's just, you know, like, you know, I like to plot a lot of stuff, but I mainly go for efficiency. Like, what's the fastest way to attack a problem to get the job done? And this, in a lot of cases, works out to be the fastest way. Yeah, the COVID, yeah, they call it the COVID 20. Mine turned into more like the COVID 40. So, COVID 35, if I'm being generous. Oops, I got a little paint there. No problem. Ta-da! So everything's registered in. Hey Mike, how you doing? So now, this point, this is where I have the most fun. The sketch is done. The map is done. Now, Now it's freehand time. I'm actually going to thin the paint a little more, and I'm going to probably brown it down a little bit more because I would like it to be just a little more transparent so I can build it a little softer. So I'm just gonna, I added a little bit more of the brown to the black. I'm gonna give it a shake, give it a minute or two, and we'll just spray it out and see how the color changes. See how it's getting a little bit more brown? That's what I want, so I can slowly build that tone. So basically I just added some dirt track brown to it and reduced it a little more. So now I can do a little finer spraying. Time to get down and dirty. Yep, that's what this stage is right here. Actually, you know what, before I do that, I'm going to brighten up some of the highlights first and actually bring some stuff to the foreground. So I can do it now without trying to do it later, like going over the detail. I try not to get to that detail. Milo, what's going on, buddy? Thank you for popping in. I try not to go to that 100%, you know, dark until I kind of establish all my mids. So I'm going to go through and just kind of hit some highlight areas. Like, you know, where these eyes are going to be brighter. You know, I'm going to do those now. Should I do the eyes red? Should the eyes be red? What's everyone think? Take a quick vote. Red, yes or no? Red eyes. I kind of love how everyone's fat. It's not just me anymore. So Chris says red. Aaron says red. Larry, orange with red, both. Larry, that might be the winner right there. A little orangey red. We're going to do that. Red, red, red. So far the reds have it. Since London is the high bidder at 200 right now, what's he say? Since he's the one most likely to take it home at this point.
Still got an hour?
What's that?
Still got an hour.
Yeah. If I go, I might not go the full 2. But see how now just establishing that the tone, the light sourcing, just really kind of playing with that. You can see from a distance how it starts to create that lift. It really makes it feel like this guy's coming out of that center hole. That's why I wanted it like that. I like that rusty red like this. So, yeah, so I'll do a little red and brown kind of tone for that eye. And see, by doing all this freehand work now, any of that stenciling look I had from using that stencil will be gone. See, it's softening all those edges up. Getting that tone. Oh, Dennis has 225. I don't know what CDN means.
Canadian?
Well, we do in US dollars, so.
I don't know if that means Canadian. It might not. Are they from Canada?
Well, London Paint Company is, so, and his bids are in US dollars. So if you're saying 225 US, then you'd be the high bidder, Dennis, but let us know and confirm. And we won't be doing a painting next week. So this will be the last one until after SEMA. But we'll be doing work at SEMA. We're going to try to do a video from SEMA. We'll just see how everything goes out there. Yep. Fingers pumping, man. Alright, let's find an airbrush. Do a little red.
Oh, it's Canadian. Okay. So, I can figure out what it is. And
yes, I don't think that's over the $200 US bid.
I think it might be. It's pretty similar.
Yeah, but it has just, yeah, we won't, bids are in US dollars. We're not going to do conversions.
I can figure it out.
But if you'd like to, you could definitely let us know.
And you can, if you have your just rebid.
We'll start a little.
In US it is. So
Okay,
like
so.
Give 225 in US.
Okay, so Dennis, you can confirm if you want 225 US.
Thank you, Carl, for figuring out there'd be 181.
Thank you, Carl. Yeah.
Yes. I think you, yeah. 200 USD is 247 in Canadian.
Still, no, we're not doing. This is why we're not doing Canadian conversion. So U.S. bid. So London bid yours was 200 U.S. initially. Dennis, if you're bidding 225 U.S., you're ahead, but you need to confirm. Shipping to Canada is not included. Shipping's about London. The last painting I think was like $25. I think $20 is what we did for shipping. Into Canada. U.S. it's free shipping within the U.S.
$225 USD.
Okay, so that's where we're at. Okay, good. We got that squared away. Just have to be, thorough on that because I don't want people to get the wrong idea. So we're gonna get that orangey rust color to the eye. Kind of have a reddish orangey kind of glow to it. So I'm establishing that now, and we'll go in some highlighting and stuff later. And it'll look really cool when it's done. Cool. All right. So, get you. Get some highlighting. Yeah, I did 2 eyes. I usually always do 1. That's right. Good catch. It's a rare Scott McKay 2-eyed skull. Yeah, London Paint Company's, his craftsmanship is absolutely amazing. I'm trying to see if I have my
your pen.
pen. I don't think it's right here. I think I have it. Might be out there, Kayla. I want to go check out on just the bench there. It's still in the it's in the box. Canadians have their own language. No, they speak English in Canada, except for Montreal. Montreal is French Canadian, so it's French, but it's not France French. It's similar, but it has a lot of its own words. So they're like French Canadians. But everywhere else is English. No, I'm not taking my little helper to SEMA.
I wish.
Kaylee can't come to SEMA. Actually, they don't allow kids at SEMA anyway.
I gotta wait till next year, I think.
I'm not sure if the age limit is you have to be over 16, or you have to be over 18. So Kaylee is not coming. So
ask when you're there.
I'll find out. So London Paint Company, yeah. So this is the pen that he made for me based on my Black Widow project. So here's the hand turned. The lights in here, I have purplish lights going, so it's making it look not as red. But these are hand done, hand turned, and these are awesome. So definitely, if you're into pens, definitely go check out his work. And that is my plug. And then we'll go from there. Hello from Lexington, Mass. Hey, Kevin, how you doing? I used to live right down the street. Me and my wife Crystal's first apartment was right in Bedford, Mass. So right down the end of 62. So if where the 62 split is when you go in towards Concord, my rental was right there.
Dennis said I'm French Canadian. We have very colorful slang French.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Colorful slang French. Yeah.
We were talking about that in Latin class today, actually. How
Oh, were you really?
Yeah, how there are different
It's kind of like its own heavy dialect. It's got its own French dialect, basically.
Yeah, because we were talking about how schools languages do trips. Because our school used to actually bring the Latin students to Italy every year.
Yep.
And I talked about how in French they usually, when people teach French, they usually bring them to Quebec. But then they find out when they get there that they didn't learn French Canadian, they learned French.
Yeah.
So they don't understand a good portion of how they're talking. And it's a mess. It's like the same thing when when you're taking Spanish, you're usually being taught the Spanish from Mexico and that area, and not the Spanish that they speak in Spain.
Yeah, like when you take Spanish here, you're learning, South America Spanish. Mm-hmm. You're not learning, European Spanish. European Spanish, yeah. That's kind of like how Canada is. In this time of year, a lot of the French Canadians are down here. They come down here this time of year and actually spend a lot of time at the beaches in September and the full foliage watching and stuff like that. Leaf peepers, we call them.
Way worse in Maine. Maine is the most leaf peepers.
Maine to New Hampshire, yeah.
We don't get too much in but we get...
Well, we get them in Mass because they come in for Halloween, so they go over to Salem.
But for looking at foliage, they usually go to either Vermont, New Hampshire, or Maine.
Yeah.
Vermont's super pretty in fall.
Yeah, Vermont's awesome. You're welcome, Sean. Thank you for starting the bids off there.
Castilian Spanish is proper?
What is it?
Castilian Spanish is proper.
So is that proper Spanish, like European Spanish, Blue? Or is it?
They speak proper Spanish. We speak Spanglish with Chris Garcia. So it's like a mix. I think he's saying it's a mixture of Spanish and English.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know. I can't understand any of it except for a few words. Usually the swear words and some other words.
I probably understand more of it because I take Latin.
Yeah.
And I did take Spanish when I was young. Really, I don't remember a ton of it. If I hear it, I'll remember it, but I don't remember it off like the top of my head. It's like living in the Midwest and talking to someone from New Orleans. You can figure it out, but it's not the same. Exactly.
Yeah, New Orleans is like, a lot of Creole French.
Oh, Sean.
Up to $2.50. Thank you, sir.
Mesa Buceta is from Spain.
Yes.
Yeah, Latin is interesting because it's extremely similar to Italian specifically. But then there are some things that like I get tripped up on because I like think that an Italian word is a Latin word.
Oh yeah.
Because I know a little bit of
What
Italian.
is SEMA? I am looking it up and seeing event dates and such. Nothing explaining what they. So what SEMA is? It stands for Specialty Equipment Manufacturers Association. It is the largest custom car show, parts extravaganza of everything to do in the car industry in one place once a year in Vegas. They do all the TV show stuff you'll see on like all the Discovery Channel. Everyone will be there working. Everyone's there showcasing. Every car manufacturer, every parts manufacturer is all there. So it's just, I don't want to say it's not a car show, but it's like a car show. It's a product showcase for the automotive car industry.
Oh, Mike said I can ask for directions in Spanish, but I can't understand the directions they give.
Nice.
Yeah. That happened a little bit when we went down to that area. Like, we was like, I don't know what part of Mexico we went to for like a few days, but they were like,
oh, we went on the cruise? Yeah.
Yeah, and then like, we would ask things, like, every once in a while there would be someone that was just like,
yeah, we've gone, it's mostly tourist place, so everyone speaks enough English where we can get by. But
yeah, there were a few times when, like, there was, like, one person didn't, and then we, like, explained, and then they spoke in English.
Oh, yeah.
But
now, going to Canada is actually different, because you go to Montreal, and a lot of people don't speak English at all there, or won't speak English, is some of it.
They can, but they won't.
Yeah, that's some of it, but... Dennis, do you speak fluent French Canadian, or are you originally from that area, or did you move to that region from somewhere else?
We just said I speak Spanish real good.
Si hablo more Spanish, you could. When I used to work at Sears Automotive NTV, most of my tire crew was from various parts of South America, so I understood quite a bit certain words. I knew when they were fighting. I knew a lot of the bad words, which I won't say. It'll probably get censored on YouTube.
I feel like I should know more Spanish since all of like the people that work at the barn like will just speak Spanish.
Yeah.
I know enough to like. The only person I can really talk to is Danny because.
Oh yeah, Danny from the barn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the others, like they understand English, but they.
Yeah, they don't speak it.
They don't speak it well, and they don't like speak it to people. So. That's why they know like they don't really like. They respond short, like one-word answers.
Yeah.
Don't ever ask me for directions in any language if you're from out of town. Last year for Coachella Fest, I was giving all the visitors wrong directions if you come out to journey. Oh, that sucks, especially if you're going to Coachella.
Well, it happens here a lot. So when I used to work at the Sears stores at a mall up in Salem, New Hampshire. Now, Salem, New Hampshire is 30 minutes out of Boston. Salem, Massachusetts is 30 minutes outside of Boston, the other direction. So you got Salem, Massachusetts, everyone comes to for Halloween this time of year. But if you come out of Boston the highway and you just see Salem, a lot of times that highway is pointed to Salem, New Hampshire. So we used to get people to come up all the time to Salem, New Hampshire, wanting to know where the Witch Museum was and the Wax Museum. And
you're in the wrong.
I'm like, you're in the wrong Salem.
That's like people trying to find a Springfield.
Yeah. Well, even our town here, Merrimack, I've had customers go to Merrimack, New Hampshire, versus Merrimack, Massachusetts.
Also, like, I was looking...
I would like to see a Discovery Channel team up with Scott Mack. Oh, with me on it?
That'd be interesting.
Yeah. The only time I was on Discovery was I was helping out West Coast Customs with Rhino, one of the SEMA booths one year. So we were doing classes. I was helping Rhino with the class at SEMA. And so I was on that for a very brief appearance with them.
Oh, so Javier said it's from Chile. Language is Spanish or Portuguese.
Oh, yeah.
And then Dennis said, I'm from Northern Ontario and Northern Quebec, lived in Ottawa for 15 years, living in Montreal for the last 4 years.
Oh, nice. I forget last time I was up in Laval, Quebec, just outside of Montreal.
I'd love to go to Canada.
And we did I did a workshop up there. So I loved doing a workshop. I'd love to come back up and do a workshop up there. So hopefully we'll get that. I'd like to come up in Montreal and do another workshop.
Oh, Dennis is at 275.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, if you like this now, when you see this cleared and all toned in, it's going to be outstanding. Once I get all this basic line work in, then I'm going to kind of tone over it. And we'll pull back, do some detail. Get all those highlights in. Oh, so you live in Laval. Okay. Yeah, my friend Patrick Brienne, his father owns a body shop in Laval. And I think it's Laval Auto Body. I'm not 100% sure. And we came up there a few years ago and did a workshop, did a demonstration. And would love to come up and do it again sometime. You're not that far from here. About a 4-hour drive, Dennis. Yeah, like I said, I'd love to do it. I'll have to talk to Patrick. Because we did like a 15-person seminar up there. It was great. Obviously, you're not doing anything until things open up, but... Let's show you what this looks like zoomed out. So see, it's got that really nice look. It's farther for me than that. Yeah, when the masking comes off, yeah, it's gonna be like Christmas, man. That's the best part. Always the best part. Start pushing this guy in the background. Put the core shadow down here on the chin. You know, I love using this template here. Let's see if I got it. I can't find it. looking for the micro dots from Blair, but I can't seem to find them. I love using those in here.
I'm gonna grab those two you dropped.
I regularly should have thought twice before starting this project freehand. Oh, border opens November 8th. Oh, cool. No, it's fine. So, black candy. So, yeah, we're at 275, right? Is the current bid.
Yeah.
That's cool. Really appreciate it, guys.
The next bid probably should be at least 280.
Yeah, and I would like to keep it in these like 25 increments.
No, so I'm saying the least.
Yeah.
Up by.
Yeah. $20 increments. I don't want to get into fives and singles and things like that.
Yeah.
And the black candy. I'm going to straighten this up a little bit. $300. Thank you, sir.
Where? Oh, just showed up.
Yep.
I hate when my check is behind.
Yeah, yours is a little off. Scott, Doug from Motorcycle Night last week with the pumpkin. It was first time watching. Thanks, Doug. Appreciate that. Doug's over on Facebook side. If you want to really like the look, go over to the YouTube link. Esther, hi on Esther's on for YouTube. Good to see you. Thank you for checking in. We got a few Canadians on the YouTube channel. Esther is my aunt from Nova Scotia, Canada. Oh, we got FBS on. Yep. So FBS tape and sprayers. Yes, you got the booth number here. Thanks for doing that. Appreciate that. We were talking about that earlier. So for those coming to SEMA, we'll be at the FBS booth, which is 3207 Upper South Hall. All next week, every day. We'll be there every morning, 4 hours, from like 9 to 1. We'll be doing plotter demonstrations, masking demonstrations. There's a tape-off challenge. There's everything going on over there. And then right after that, I'll be going over to the Iwata booth, which is right next to it. You're fairly close to it. And I'll be doing paint demonstrations, making takes where you can actually paint a project alongside me and learn a little stuff and take it with you. Okay, turn that. Alright, let's get some highlights here. I do like those red eyes. Those red eyes really popped.
Yeah, I like the red. Look good.
Yeah, it just gives it a little something. And as this is getting darker, it's starting to look kind of washed and even, but once I pull this and get this brass tone out, it's going to look awesome. But yeah, so my Aunt Esther, guys, she's over on the YouTube, Facebook side. She's in Nova Scotia, Canada, where my family's from. Most of my family up in Grand River, Nova Scotia. I got family mixed all over the place up there. Some year I got to make it back up there. Take off, eh? You know what's one move I can't find anywhere to stream? Is Strange Brew. Alright, let's get a little bit tint on him.
Oh, 2.5.
Thank you, Dennis. Will we break a record tonight?
No, I'm already on second sticky note.
What's our highest bid at one of these lives? So I think that was when we did.
That was like for 1,000 once.
That was not here. That was
the World Wheels.
That was World of Wheels stuff.
Does that count?
No, I was just talking about this. I think that was Dewey Dave when he did.
500, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was like 400 or 500. That was the Shining one.
Why did I write Hellraiser?
My pinhead is starting to look like a more salvage.
Oh no.
I want to put a little bit of that orangey tone on him. There we go. Yeah, it's starting to look really cool. Now let's get some highlights, and we start doing the pull that background. So now this is where these highlights really make all the difference. And this might be a project in a lot of these because it's got so much edging. I'll probably end up clearing this twice. And what I'll do is I'll clear it, sand it, I'll do some other highlighting and some extra touches after that. And then polish it. And this will go gloss. I think this will look better gloss clear versus flat. Thank you, FBS, for checking in. I'm not sure who's the one actually manning the station. Appreciate it. See you guys next week. I should take this time to thank a lot of our, sponsors that work with us throughout the year on various projects and builds. These are all my preferred brands I use. Iwata spray equipment for my airbrushes and spray guns. Obviously, Kratex colors. FBS tapes we just talked about. Lumalore, fisheye filter. All these guys help me get my jobs done well and right. I buy all my stuff too, get it all through Coast Airbrush in Anaheim, California. Best prices, best service than anyone else in the industry, and they've been in it 32 years, and almost everyone there paints to some degree and understands the product, understands how to use it. You're not going to get no other airbrush supplier has that kind of pedigree or knowledge behind them. A lot of them are just stores, they just sell product. Thanks, Blue. feel the last one I played around with was... Oh, very cool. I was probably a lot of people played with the pumpkin one last week. That was great. People did that because that took initiative for people to do it because it's not one I put up for download or for reprint, so you had to really do it all. So everyone who messed with that, good for you guys. It looked awesome. I love these little broken teeth here, these sockets. I'm going to add a little texture here. Lumalore is another company I work with a lot. I got to do a Lumalore piece here coming up. I think when I get back from SEMA, we'll do a Lumalore panel because I have some pre-done and ready to go. It'll be cool to paint on one of those. Run and fix the light on a train car. Hope I don't miss the end. Well, getting close, but train stuff can be pretty big. I know that. Me, Rhino, and Shorty, and Joel, and Gary did a train last year up in Escanaba, Michigan. We restored a dining car for Northern Pacific Railroad in 11 days from bare metal to finish. That was a massive, massive undertaking. Gail, you could drop the names now. Thank you for having those up.
Are they off?
Okay. Okay, so I brighten that stuff up, and now I'll knock some things back. Just really push things into the background. You can see it now. I start darkening all this stuff in with the black candy. Start pushing everything back. And when it's clear, it just looks like it's coming out of a deep hole. Alright, let's start getting this mask off. We're going to go around and make sure I got all my drop shadowing done. I'm happy with it. Go back through and just, because this is a little darker, I'm going to hit some key ones. First, before I unmask. Really push that. How often do you place fish eye? Not very often, depending on heavy use. Like if you're a production shop, you like the heavy production shop, the fisheye filters you can replace every like 30 days to 30 to 60 days. You can also, you just change the filament inside it. You don't change the whole unit. There's just a little filament piece inside that you change out. You can actually I can't show you without blowing it apart. So, that's for the bigger ones. The airbrush is even less. But if you're like me, where you just, you're doing specialty spraying, I get like 60 to 90 days out of them before I start noticing air, because you don't notice moisture coming through. That's the nice thing about these. You never get moisture through your line, ever. What you'll notice is a drop in pressure. You're not getting as much CFM through your brush because it's, once the moisture is full, it'll actually cut air off 100%. You won't get any air through it. It'll slow the airflow down. That's what's so nice about them. Okay, we went 300 for the bid? Or 325? 325. I keep forgetting. This guy looks like it's floating in the center. Thanks. Yeah, and hopefully when we're done, it'll look like it's like really deep once you see all this texture and stuff. I'm gonna put some more texture around here. Just let it, because I want the box to look like it's toned in. All right, I think we are at unmask time.
Oh yay!
Unmask time. It's Christmas. That's all. I'll take a pause for a little golden libation. Look at that color. It almost matches. And here we go. Ready? Drum roll. Can't do drum roll. I need one of those sound effects boards. I probably don't need one of those sound effects boards.
No, you don't.
Look at that. So you can see how bright that is, that ground metal. So this is cleared, man. It's just gonna pop.
Ooh, I can't. Oh, that's really pretty.
Yeah, see how
That's really cool.
How cool that looks. It's gonna get so much more dynamic when light hits it.
I'll see up close because I can't see from here because I don't have my glasses.
Bring me your phone and put your flashlight on, and I'll show how everything lights up. So if you look, you can see the reflection of the metal, and it's gonna all pop through here. It's clear. I wish I could show it to you all cleared, and if you think it looks good here, it's gonna be 10 times as nice.
I'm just gonna stand here because I want to see it.
No one even noticed I changed my background color tonight.
Yes.
It's not blue. It's red.
I don't know if they can see it.
Not now, they can't see it, but yeah. Yep, Kelly's behind me. Hi. See, I'm red tonight instead of blue. All right, we're back.
Okay.
Kaylee loves being on camera. No. Now, if you want to get crazy, if you want to make this thing look super three-dimensional, 350. Write it down, kid.
Okay.
If you took this mask and made a second one and offset it just a little bit, you could actually make...
How good is that? Okay.
That was London. You can make it look fully chamfered, and I'm gonna accent these edges and use some racing and make it really look make it really pop. Look at that! Look how cool it's looking. Like I said, this is not something I'll be doing a download of or project file of, because this is someone else's IP. Really, I'm just doing this as a cool tribute piece and a fan art, and it's not going.
Are you allowed to sell it? Yeah, probably actually.
Yeah, it's just a piece of fan art. It's not going into production.
Oh yeah, that's the difference.
And if someone from that wants a piece of what I sell this for, I'm happy to do that.
Can you spray it too wet?
Can you spray it to... Oh, with I don't have any of the wax and grease remover up here. I don't think. Actually, Kelly, let me look at that.
Is it this?
Yeah.
This?
Let me see. This might be. Please see your phone.
Why?
This I asked. Turn the light on.
Oh. I thought you were gonna like spray it on my phone.
Yeah. So I'm gonna spray right down here, and Kaylee can move the phone around. And so see how you can see that really warm glow. Look at that.
Wow.
That's the money right there.
So that's what it'll look like when it's clear?
When it's going to clear, it's going to look kind of like that.
I remember when I...
See, look at that. So here it doesn't really show, but when you get down here, it just glows like crazy.
Spray it in the, so you can see the hole. Oh, it looks like it's coming out of the hole.
I'll do that at the end. Okay. I don't want to ruin the full reveal.
That's true. I remember I did...
but that's, for those wondering, that's House of Color KC10. Their wax and grease remover, their solvent wax and grease remover over Kratex has been my best result as far as a wax and grease remover. Doesn't take anything off or reactivate. Cleans really well. Okay, let me keep going. I'm trying to pull the circle off last. But you can just see this is like the best part of the job, unmasking. I've been doing a bike this week with it's gonna have American flags and some skull work on it, and I just finished all the masking on it, which is all the work. And now, you know, days of design and mask layout in this whole bagger, and then it's literally gonna be like 2 hours of finished spraying to get it done. That's kind of like this. It's, you know, all the work's at the beginning with design and everything, and then you pick and weed it all, so it goes this fast. Okay, so outer rim. Now I pull this ring, it's really going to set that skull. Kind of really finish the illusion. Pretty cool, huh? Look at that. Now we're going to go around and just do some final detailing. And I'm also going to make sure we pull all the little masks. So you go around, you feel your edges, and you can feel the mask a little higher, like this piece there. Get him out. The little guys here. You don't want to have these. You don't want to find these after you clear.
What film do you make the most for?
What film? Oh, so if you missed the beginning, this is I use all FBS mask, and this was originally done with the FBS green, which is their new transparent mask. Super flexible, cuts like butter. I didn't need to use a transparent here. I just did so you could see the metal through it. Normally I probably would have used the blue for something intricate like this. And then they have, that's their blue mask, and then they have their gold mask, which is like a semi-transparent paper type mask. The nice thing about this mask, it leaves no edge. There's no, I won't say no, but there's minuscule edge on this painting. Cool. Alright, so I'm going to dump this paint. Now I want to go with the brown that has a little bit, that brown has a little more orange cast. Check that on my little handy dandy airbrush widget. I got a new one. Actually, Airbrush widget is partnered up with Dell at the Visionaire, which is this mounting system. So there's one of these mounts right to the side, which is going to make it real easy. So now we use that color. Yeah, it's going to be so awesome cleared. So now I'll go over, and I'm just going to hit just some edges. Tone this out. See that little bit? Now it just gives a little bit of beveling to it. And I can kiss over the whole thing a little bit. Oh, actually, watch this. I'm going to kiss over the whole thing, which is just going to kind of warm it up a little bit with that orangey root beer color. watch what I'm going to do next. See what that did? It just kind of warmed it up. Now, we'll bring up the eraser. And we're going to hit some edges. And just go around these edges and highlight. Zoom in here. And just, you see, I'm going to bounce this off a little bit and just get a little texture into there. This little bit of erasing technique just adds so much to this. So now that the cleanest metal is going to come through that edge. And it'll create like a natural highlight. Yeah, a little bit, and just like I said, just keeps adding more. We got 15 minutes. See, Kaylee? You thought we were gonna be early.
I didn't say I thought we were gonna be early.
No, I thought you were thinking.
You're the one that said we won't go the whole time. I was the one that said it was only an hour.
I thought that's what you were insinuating, that we were getting through it fast.
Oh no, I was just stating that it had only been an hour.
Cool. There we go. It's also the first square panel I've done on the show. I mean, it would be awesome to do, 8 of these and make the actual cube like this and have all the pieces interlock. It would be outstanding. But I don't think that's reality for me. Someone would have to commission a heavy commission for that. Let's see, I'm just going through and I'm accenting some of these to give it a beveled feel. Reminds me of Mike's Killer Paint logo. Yeah, maybe. Yep. Hey, Gary, how you doing, bud? Did you just get on? I don't think I've seen you much tonight.
I haven't seen much?
Gary Shees.
Where? What's I seen?
Oh, thanks for checking in, Greg from Australia. Appreciate you coming in. So I'm just going through, just accenting some of these. I'm actually going to do a little splatter here too. It's just spitting paint. I just don't want to get it on the skull. It's just going to add more texture. So London, Sean, that is the Visionaire system. So VSION Air.UK, I believe, is the site. I'll have to look. But they have a YouTube channel as well. And they make all sort, like, you can't see it, but there's a whole rack that goes around my bench and all these extra peripherals and all this stuff. Like my paint is all up here on a rack. Everything's just, right here. Oh, cool, Gary. Yeah, I didn't see ya. Thanks for popping in. Okay, we got the final 8 minutes before we close this feed off. Is there any final bids? Get them in. We're at $3.50. That is Sean Alot from London Pen. And we will lock this thing up. Call it another night. This was a really fun project. Oh, you didn't get the notification. That's weird. Yeah, who knows why those, when they come up and when they don't. Okay, so final bid is $3.50 going once. Going twice. And $3.50 going 3 times. Sold! This one goes to Sean Alot, London Pen Company. Thank you very much, sir.
Apparently the noise from the tip cleaning drives my dog insane. I mean, it does sound like a mouse.
Sorry.
I feel like Willow and Max would also freak out if they heard that.
Yeah, probably. Tone these eyes in, tone that. And we are going to call this a night. I want to thank everyone for checking in. You know, I'm going to go across some of these. Make them look a little like they stood off. Piece like this I could spend hours on afterwards. But that is going to be it. So with that, I would like to thank everyone for tuning in on another Thursday night. Thursday night, Airbrush Down Dirty Tricks live feed right before Halloween. Catch us live at SEMA next week in Las Vegas. I'll post some pics, try to do some videos and put some stuff up here on the channel. Maybe we try to do a quick painting from live out there as well. So I hope everyone has a great night. Happy and safe Halloween. Have a great week. I will check in with you all next time. And make sure you share, subscribe, sign for notifications and all that jazz. And we will see you another time. Thanks, guys. Have a good one.